I will talk about RCS, the Rich Communication Suite. But before I do that, I'll start with some historic reflections. In the late 1800s, there were actually 3 different telephony operators in Stockholm alone, and you couldn't call between them. After a while, they realized that the value of this service got bigger if they actually connected to each other. And this happened in different countries, and after a while the whole world was connected, and today we have more than 5 billion endpoints connected in the world's largest communication community. When mobile telephony was introduced, of course that mobile phone could then call any of the fixed phones. It would have been a disaster if you could only call another mobile phone. So of course they were interconnected from day one. With GSM there was also SMS introduced, and that is now one of the largest messaging services on the globe. But then, after some time, MMS was introduced, and at that point we had 2 or 3 or 4 operators in each and every country, and the service was not really launched for communication purposes. It was more launched for differentiating purposes, where operators now were competing on customers. So MMS was really not a very big success, except for in the US, because in the US you had the opposite thing. With SMS it wasn't interoperable to start with, and SMS traffic was basically 0 in the US until they realized the fact that they were not interoperable and made interconnection agreements, and SMS took off. So they had learned a lesson, and when MMS was launched in the US it was a success from day one because it was interoperable. So what happens then as the next step in mobile communication? The next step is introducing presence-based, active address book, chat, and all these type of sharing services, file sharing, image sharing, and so forth. And that is now put into a consortia which is called RCS, Rich Communication Suite, which consists of a number of operators, infrastructure vendor, and terminal vendors that has agreed on a communication set, but also on the fact that it should be interoperable services, cross networks, cross operators, cross terminal, and infrastructure. So this is basically the next step in communication, where this is going to be brought to the market. But then you can ask yourself, how can then an operator differentiate if we all launch the same service? Well, in RCS there are Java-based APIs in the terminal, so operators can have their own clients running the same service but with a branded client, and also adding differentiating services on top of the RCS communication service. So with RCS you get the mass market interoperable multimedia communication service together with the possibility for the operators to differentiate and bring value-added services on top of it.